President Donald Trump is holding off on his tariff threats against Canada and Mexico for now.
But the tariffs against China are still moving forward, and many business owners and economists say they are worried about rising prices and trade fights. Tia Ewing got their take today. Tia.
Well, Dawn and Scott, it already impacted the stock market. Canada's prime minister just said Trump tariffs will be postponed by at least 30 days after he promises more cooperation on the border. But still, tariff talk is responsible for dragging down the stock market today. Will it also drag down your wallet if it happens? The tariffs against China are still set to go into effect tomorrow. One business owner told me he isn't against the tariffs because he believes the Trump administration is looking at the bigger picture.
We were really hit with the tariffs in 2018 and 2019. I was very vocal against those tariffs because I thought that it was going to, create some sort of a trade war and create massive price spikes, but it actually didn't happen.
President Donald Trump promised to impose a 25% tariff on all goods entering the United States from Canada, a 10% tariff on Canadian energy, and a 10% tariff on all goods entering the U.S. from China. The Prime Minister of Canada didn't take too kindly to that. Justin Trudeau then said Canada would begin imposing 25% tariffs on more than $100 billion of U.S. goods in response to Trump. In your fridge or household right now, there's meat, grain, cars, steel, and also lumber. Canada is Illinois' largest trade partner. The Illinois Economic Policy Institute says the cost to an average household would be between $2,000 and $3,000 a year on top of worsening inflation.
Canada is Illinois' largest trade partner. About a third of all imports come from Canada, Mexico, and China combined, but most of those come from Canada. And so that has a larger impact here on us here in Illinois. It's also worth noting that tariffs themselves have disproportionate impacts here in Illinois because Illinois accounts for about 4% of the total U.S. economy, but we import more than $200 billion in goods and commodities annually, and that is 7% of total imports across the country.
Well, tonight we are hearing from Canada with this statement from the Consul General. It says, here's part of it. Illinois alone shares an $86 billion annual two-way trade relationship with Canada. Illinois exports more to Canada than to its next two largest foreign markets combined. Canada also supplies billions of dollars worth of crude oil to Illinois. A 10% tariff on these imports will have real consequences at the gasoline pump. The tariffs on China will still happen at midnight. In terms of Mexico, Trump is pausing the tariffs 1 month from now. The country agreed to put 10,000 members of the National Guard at the border to address drug trafficking. Scott?
Thank you. Senator Dick Durbin introducing new legislation aimed at stopping gun trafficking from the U.S. to Mexican cartels. Lawmakers estimate 200 to 500,000 American-made guns are smuggled into Mexico every year. And Durbin argues these weapons worsen violence by supporting cartels involved in human smuggling at the southern border and also boost the illegal drug trade into the U.S. Durbin blaming American gun laws. The legislation, called the Stop Arming Cartels Act, would ban any non-governmental entities from making, importing, and or selling .50 caliber rifles. It would also require firearm dealers to report multiple sales of rifles to state and local law enforcement agencies.